Yo, what's going on, y'all? It's your boy So, in case you ain't know so, and welcome back to another dope episode of Sports with So. Coming to you live, y'all. This week, Cristobal and the Canes fumble the win at home. The Dolphins find their rhythm against the Giants. The Heat are getting ready for preseason basketball. The Marlins get out of the playoffs too quickly. And Inter Miami kisses their playoff hopes goodbye. It's time to take a ride, y'all. Let's go. Yeah, you gotta unmute yourself. Yeah.
What it do?
Yeah, this episode is gonna be good, man. How you doing, my brother?
I'm good. Happy Tuesday to everybody that's listening or watching.
Absolutely.
Appreciate you guys tuning in.
Make sure you guys are already tuned in to OnlyFans. We dropped it Monday for you guys who haven't gotten a chance to check it out yet. Make sure you guys are going to the Sports with So YouTube channel, hitting that subscribe button, and hit the like button on that video. Let us know what you guys thought of it. We presented a really good question about the Dolphins running back situation and how that room is starting to sort itself out. So drop a comment, let us know what you guys think about that running back room, man. Joel, you know, I know we usually start off with the Dolphins once it's football season, but we have to address the biggest elephant in the room, right?
I mean, right about now, you're not feeling too great if you're a fan of the Miami Hurricanes.
No, you are not. And if you haven't heard already, the Hurricanes lost to Georgia Tech at home, dog. And it's and the way that we lost, Joel, the Canes lose at home to Georgia Tech. What was the final? 23-20. And your boy was in the building. Your boy was in the building for that game. And while we didn't look dominant on offense, right, and we can get to that later, the defense played really well. Really limited everything that Georgia Tech had as far as an offense, right? But the game works its way out. It's an ugly game for the Hurricanes. TVD has multiple interceptions in the game that we haven't seen in like a long time, but we have seen him kind of melt down before. And it just looked like we were struggling. But even still, with all that struggling, we were in a position to win the football game. We were up 20-17, and Cristobal ran the ball with about 30 seconds left, 50 seconds left, instead of taking the knee. And today he comes out, or, you know, while we're recording on Monday, he comes out and says, well, I'll take the blame for it and all that. But the bigger question here is, what does this do for the rest of the team? What does this do for Don Chaney's mindset and that team's mindset, right? Where, yeah, the players suffered their loss. Now their season is kind of in shambles, right? With a big game against North Carolina coming up. And Cristobal just takes the blame. Like, I don't know, man. It feels like a lot heavier than what he's leading on to believe in the media.
I mean, that goes without saying, bro. What's understood need not be said, right? 100% you're taking the blame. There's no way you're blaming those kids, bro. The only one, I mean, the only one that you could look to blame, you know, if you wanted to try to point fingers, is Tyler Van Dyke, because of how poor his performance was. And in a season as important as this one, not only for the Hurricanes program, but for, you know, we talked about before, Tyler Van Dyke's, you know, draft stock. Yeah. He didn't help himself out this weekend, especially against a school that is one of those schools where, you know, one of those games where you can go in and pad your stats. He didn't really do that here. You know, this was kind of a grueling dogfight. We didn't really get a lot, you know, from him as far as what we were expecting. And, you know, at the end of the day, we still had a shot to win the game, like you were saying. You know, the defense had a big part in that. And to be the head guy, to be the leader on that team, meaning, you know, the head coach, the guy that was brought here, you know, from the big program, having so much success, a former player, offensive lineman, you know, smart guy, you know, players coach, has that locker room, has a lot of great pieces, and not just on the player side, but from the coaching staff as well. And you do that. And what I'm talking about and referring to is you don't kneel the ball to secure the game. At that point, I mean, you just got to kneel the ball, my boy. Why are you putting the ball in the hands of your running back where that is even a possibility? Even if the statistics were 0.01%, you kneel the ball because it's 100% guaranteed victory, and you move forward. And at the end of the day, no matter what, wouldn't have been a blowout victory like we wanted, but a W is a W, and you keep rolling and you move into North Carolina next week. undefeated. Now you just lost to Georgia Tech. It's a lot of questions for this Hurricanes team this season.
And a lot of questions for Cristobal that didn't need to be raised, right? Because like it's one thing for you to have this first mistake as a rookie head coach. You're at a big program and you kind of miss and fumble the bag that way. Okay, I can kind of get that. But he's been at big programs before. This has happened to him at Oregon before, where they lost after the running back fumbled. Stanford recovered it, took it right back down the field, scored a touchdown, won the game in Oregon, right, to upset Oregon. And you don't walk away with that with the bigger lesson at hand, like take the victories, however ugly they may come. In the ACC schedule, like come on, dude, this is couldn't be worse timing, right? And like you said, we did dominate Georgia Tech. It wasn't a blowout, but we dominated them. We had over 400 yards of offense, like, and it didn't even look that way.
I didn't say that we dominated, just to be sure. You're not putting words in my mouth. That was not a domination, that was not a domination, bro. But unfortunately, you know what? We talked the defense up, but at the end of the day, I don't know if I can put the blame on the defense or if it was on the scheme on the last two plays. Because Cristobal put them in a shit situation where they put the ball on the ground and fumbled it and gave it away. But then to add insult to injury, bro, just pour salt in the wounds. They're able to drive the ball 70 yards, the length of the field, essentially, on two plays to score a touchdown. And it's like, what just happened? Like, nobody knew what the hell just happened in that game. We thought they might have had a chance to set up for a field goal. This would have gone to overtime. We would have won it there. These guys just walk off touchdown to seal it off at our crib.
And the way that it happened, broken coverage, you can't bring the quarterback. You let him roll all the way right. And bites on the fake. Like he went up to the receiver for no reason. Had he hung back, he would have made the tackle and would have had support. Again, it was just a real fumble of every possible situation. And it causes me as a Hurricane supporter to question Cristobal. And not in the sense of like, oh, should he be fired? And no, but like, how good or how prepared are you for this job? Do you recognize what just happened here and what the status needs to be for this program to get back where we need to get? Like we were hoping to be undefeated, right? And especially in the ACC before we got to FSU. Now we're heading into North Carolina, which is going to be a hard-ass game at night, Saturday night. You know they're going to be amped up for it. How much confidence is this team going to walk into that building with? It's going to be hard for me to really be like, yeah, they're going to be at 100%. No way.
I can't imagine that there's a pissed off mindset in that room in a good way, saying, "Oh, we're gonna bounce back. We have a chip on our shoulder. We're gonna go out there and show North Carolina." Like, I think there's a lot of questions. Like, is this the right guy leading us right now? You know what I mean? I think we have the talent. I think TVD is good. Maybe he has a bad performance, but like, do we really trust coach? And that's really the biggest question mark moving forward. Going, with Cristobal on the staff.
For me, I trust Cristobal more right now at this point than I do Tyler Van Dyke. And not to say that I don't recognize his talents. This kid has amazing talent. But it's the scrutiny that we're giving him when he's under pressure, when the moment is happening. Can he change his mindset, right? Shout out to Alec Ingold. But can he change his mindset in the game to say, all right, I did a mistake. I need to get over it. This is how I get back into rhythm. Let me throw some balls. Let me get some guys in some short passes and get myself back into the game that way. 288 yards, 1 touchdown, 3 INTs. That's not TVD like. It's just not. You know what I mean? So like the onus of the game is ultimately going to fall on the players, no matter what Cristobal says, right? Like those are the guys in the locker room. Those are the guys that got to play the next game. Those are the guys that have to have the right mindset, like I was saying earlier, in order to achieve what they need to achieve, which is beat North Carolina on the road. It's going to be tough, but if they can get back to what matters, right? We saw them run the ball. Chaney, Paris Jr., they were running the ball and they were committed to it. It wasn't working all night long, but they were committed to it. I'd rather control the clock and do that and give yourself a shot. And if TVD is not going to be right in the head as far as prepared mentally to face a tough team in a tough area, in a tough environment, I don't know how the Canes are going to win. It really depends on TVD and how he bounces back from this game, because 3 interceptions is not easy to walk back from.
Nah, man. And another thing too, I mean, you got to give credit to the Georgia Tech team, bro, because
Yeah,
it was a primetime game Saturday night, 8 o'clock, and they stepped up. Though you talk about the pressure and living up to the moment, and you can tell that team collectively had a chip on their shoulder. You know what I mean? ACC, nobody giving them anything. They haven't had the best season so far to start. This is really where they can maybe turn it around for themselves, and they did it. They did exactly that at the very end of the game, bro. It was such a wild ending, like such a wild, like I was out watching it at that new place, the Regatta Grove over in Coconut Grove, where it was pretty dope. They need a little bit more TVs if you're asking me, but I was able to watch the game there, and I feel like I was the only one, and I brought attention to it, and people were like, "Oh, what happened?" I'm like, "Bro, they didn't kneel it, like they just went for it and they fumbled it, and now they're reviewing it, and now they're about to get it, and then sure enough, like everybody started watching it, and bang, bang, those 2 plays." So there was a lot of groans about Cristobal. People were pissed off. What the hell? Like literally just pointing all fingers at him. This game next week against North Carolina is going to be tough. I think if they go out and lose to North Carolina, which I'm not hoping, but at this point, I mean, Carolina's a good team. They're ranked 15 right now or something like that.
Yes, sir.
So they're a real good team. They're ACC opponent. And if they go on and lose that game, the only saving grace I can see for Cristobal whatsoever is beating FSU.
Yeah, that he obviously needs something big here, right? He needs to get into a good stretch of games where the team performs and he doesn't have these mistakes. Mind you, he hasn't ran victory formation once this season, not once. And there's a reason why it's called that. I told my coworker today, I'm like, yo, they came up with that play to guarantee the victory, so you don't have to put yourself in a situation where you're giving the ball to your running back and putting everything at play there.
Yeah.
I don't know, man. Saturday is going to be a tough game. I know this for certain. I know that he's nowhere near being close to the hot seat. That's for sure, right? It's a big fuck up, but it's his first fuck up. But it's definitely a nail in his coffin, a big nail, right? And we've seen that it doesn't take too many nails to have a coaching change down here in the Hurricanes program. So I'm hoping that Mario recognized that, really did, and implements that into his game plan for this week against North Carolina. And if we do find ourselves up, let's hit that victory formation.
Yeah, it's I got a question for you. Do the Hurricanes make it back inside the top 25 this year?
Yes, because I got a feeling that we are going to beat North Carolina. They've looked vulnerable at times, and I know that this offense can be really explosive. So I don't have any real concerns. I have a little bit of doubt, but no concerns about us being able to perform out there. So a victory like that automatically puts us back in the top 25, and we only slipped back to like 20 or 21. So they need to continue to win big in the ACC. You had your mess up. You don't have any more left. Let's see how the boys respond. Let's see how the boys respond.
Gotta bounce back. Gotta bounce back in a big way.
Make the statement game. Make this your statement game, until you face FSU.
Yeah.
Let's see.